All right, everybody. Second day of racing for the USA SUP National Championships. Everyone's time for pictures and then crazy time. Come on, let's get on the water. It's cold. It's raining. Well, it's cold for Hilton Head. Great commentary for the second day of racing. Take a look at them. Listen to the full live stream. A lot to learn. Hey, here's your course. Check out this 10K. A lot of turns. I think something like 9 turns. This wasn't going to be under an hour with that amount of turns. Tricky water, wind, you saw the rain, currents, the whole 9. This was going to be a technical 10K. Ladies start first. Check out the lower left side of your screen. You can see the speedsters out there. This was going to be the story. We're going to take the race as the footage came to us as viewers. But there's a fleet of Flying Fish and Seychelles, and that was going to be the battle of the day. Stephanie Scheidler, Kim Barnes, Seychelles, Maddie LeBlanc, Maddie Miller. And you can see those are the 5 boards to your left. And here you go. Early on, you see the prohibitive favorites there. There's Stephanie Scheidler right there on your at the top of the screen. And then there's Seychelles with that form that's very recognizable. And Kim Barnes, who has really been dominating distance races this year. So tough crew right there. And it didn't take long for them to separate. But notice out front, 3 of them across. Just not really given into the draft train yet. A little bit of show of force, perhaps, from the ladies. It looks like Stephanie, Seychelles, and Kim up front. Say goodbye to the Seagull. Say hello to the men's race, which started. Check out this drone. There you go. Iri Tenorio, absolutely a favorite. Heads and tails, but there he is with Jake Portwood in the side draft. And Jake holds tough. That's going to be the story of the men's race here. These guys are laying down power early and often. Just an incredible race by Erie, and Jake just to hang with him. If you know Erie's power and you've been watching him recently, you know that for Jake to be able to hang with him for any amount of this race was going to be a task. Now, just behind them, you see Bodie Von Allmen's in third place by about a nose on Steve Miller, followed by Andrew Searles, Carter Campbell, and there's Blake Carmichael behind him. And there you can see the distance. It's about 5 board lengths, maybe 4. And now here comes some boats. They're passing some back markers from the ladies' race, a harbinger of things to come. The course starts to get congested, as will happen when you have multiple classes, multiple distance, all on a course with a couple of circuits going around it. So here you go. That's the men's race shaping up, and it's going to stay a lot like that. But let's watch some of this action as it unfolds. Here you go. Look at that. Getting pinched on the dock, that's Steve Miller next to Andrew Searles, and you can see Carter Campbell gets kind of caught up in the wash, and it's a panic moment. If you're in this race, and you're Carter Campbell, or any one of those guys for that matter, you are trying to weave through this traffic. You've got the back markers who are sort of churning up the water. And there you got Bodie out in front, a little bit cleaner. Andrew in big trouble, has to do a crossbow to stay away from the dock, and the race is shaking up. And if you're Bodie, you're where you want to be, out of trouble, and still within sight. And just up there next to the commentator, picture in picture, you can see Jake and Erie trying to get away. But how do you navigate this traffic? And worse yet, there's a buoy turn. All of these back markers between the 2 front-running men. And here comes Bodie sweeping wide around, desperate to beat that traffic. There goes Steve Miller. Just, right, excuse me, here I come. And watch this. Going around, there's Andrew Searles, and then Blake Carmichael. Disaster. He goes in. Oh, tough break. That's a really tough spot with all that traffic. Let's pick the race back up. You can see Bodie's taking advantage of that clean water he got around that turn. But still, here comes Erie, about a board length on Jake, who is just hammering to stay with him. By the way, check out that cool boat wreck. That's kind of a neat marker in a race. Pirate vibes. Here comes Bodie. There's Carter Campbell. There's Andrew and Steve Miller. And you can see it's beginning to get spread out. Buoy turns start becoming a thing. Good turn by Miller, but he's pinned behind Andrew. And now he's got to get after it for a chase to get to Carter's tail. Back to the ladies. Okay, now we're looking at Stephanie Scheidler out in front. She's doing the pacemaking. Maddie LeBlanc, Maddie Miller in back. And then you got Seychelles in second and Kim Barnes in third. Really cool drone shot here. If I haven't said it enough, go watch the full thing. Great footage, great commentary. It's a feast. And here you go. Looking down the line, you can tell that these ladies are, as they go around the turn, I think the number one rule is don't go in. The danger of falling and getting dropped from this train is significant. And behind over their shoulders, by the way, you can see Erie and Jake are coming. The race is collapsing, and you got a really cool shot here if you're watching the live feed as convergence occurs. The front-running men catch up with the front-running ladies, and you get a really cool feast for your viewing pleasure. And notably, Jake has held on to Erie's tail, comes around this turn. Erie bobbles a little. Jake goes for the crossbow hybrid turn. hammers to get back on him. Let's take a look over. Here's Bodie, still alone. Tough spot to be. No one to work with, being chased by really strong paddlers from behind, chasing really strong paddlers. Good turn from Bodie. And then looking back over here at his pursuers, you can see Carter Campbell held onto that spot. And somehow, Steve Miller, after that carnage we just saw, has managed to sneak up to his tail. And this is a tough spot if you're Carter Campbell. He has not, I am told reliably, heretofore beaten Steve Miller in a distance race. So it's a bit of a ghost chasing him here. 51-year-old impossible human Steve Miller chasing after our young competitor in Carter Campbell. Here comes Andrew Searles. Step back turn. Tough spot, though, but you can see if you're not nailing the step back turns, if you're not navigating traffic, and this is not a bad turn, by the way, but it's just if you are not completely elite with this stuff, those guys are going to leave you behind. It's a great lesson for all of us. Okay, now we actually recognize this pier from earlier. It's been another turn. Here's the ladies' lead draft train. This time we've got Seychelles pulling. That's Kim Burns. And you can see here, there's Bodie. So here's the distance. That's Erie making a turn. Jake is staying with him still. And in doing so, evading Bodie. But you can see those turns, man. He has to work so hard to stay with Erie after a turn like that. And here comes Bodie. Once again, caught in no man's land. He makes a really nice turn. But the longer Jake can stay on Erie's tail, the tougher it is for Bodie to really draw even with him. I mean, Erie really is a locomotive engine. And true to form, here he comes. This is Erie down the home stretch. Just take a moment and watch that form and admire the drone footage. Great shot here. By the way, here's Erie coming in, hammering from a 10K. And I think that's one of the 5K front markers. So he's gone twice as far and is still just blowing past people. So Erie wins. There is Jake Portwood coming in at the bottom of our screen closest to that anchored boat. Congrats to Jake Portwood. Erie's the overall winner. Jake's the fastest guy from the U.S. And although Erie lives in St. Augustine, Florida. But great effort by Jake. Was able to hold on to Erie for a while. An amazing effort by Bodie, who really did that race by himself. Excellent job. Crowd's watching. Salutes Bodie. Well done. And here's the drag race. Carter Campbell on that Infinity, ever ready, and digging in and just taking it. A little bit of extra intrigue within the race. Finally beats Steve Miller. Kudos, Carter Campbell. Great race, Steve Miller. And here you go. Seychelles now bringing it home. She's got, about 15 yards there on Kim Barnes. We didn't see it, but she was able to separate from Kim at the final buoy. Probably not the best place to jump in with about 100 competitors coming behind you, but she earned the win. Great job. That's Stephanie Scheidler coming in third place. Great race. Hope you got to watch the live stream. Excellent job by the crew at USA SUP. What a fun weekend. Techs are next.